Hey, if you're buying weed for the high THC, you're doing it wrong. All right, so no one's missed my witty intro, but I'm here to talk about something I got in my email. But before I do, let me explain why you should listen to me on this subject. I written some things down. Like, for one, I've worked in 10 years in the civilian quality assurance manufacturing arena, 10 years as a third-party contractor. And from my personal opinion, some things shouldn't be left to the lowest bidder. And before I worked in the quality assurance field, I worked in maintenance, support, and missile defense systems. And before that, I was in the Navy for 10 years. So hang with me as we go down this freaking rabbit hole. And honestly, that's what weed helps you do. It helps you accept all this bullshit that I'm about to break down. So NIST, if you don't know who NIST is, NIST, they're like the Guardians of the Galaxy. These guys, it's a government entity. It's a government paid like physicists. And let me see if I can zoom in here. Sorry, folks. NIST. I can't zoom in. Why can't I zoom in? Oh, well. Anyways, let me see if I can make it just one page for you, and I'll read it. We'll go along. All right. So, and does that help? That probably doesn't even help. So let me just read it for you guys. Shit. Sorry. So hemp and marijuana are both come from the cannabis plant. I mean, that's just the statement alone. It's just, hemp and marijuana is cannabis, right? Like right there, boom. But legally, they are different. If cannabis has less than 0.3 THC, it's a long article, but it's evolve into a study for labs. So if you're involved in the lab right now, if you have a lab, if you want to be in a lab, and you have till February 5th to join this study. So, like, go to Oklahoma, go buy the $40,000 equipment, create an SOP, because that'd be the lowest bar you can get. But if you already have a lab, this study is going to be important, and let me tell you why. It's because NIST, if you're familiar with measurement, and I'm going to revisit an article that I wrote a couple of years ago and put it back on CLN, but it's like, it's very important, right, to know a pound of cheese or a pound of whatever is what you're getting. We talk about, we buy our weed in grams, eighths, quarters. Do you know really how much that is? So like the ounce, we all accept that 28 grams for the ounce, but the actual ounce is 28.3494 grams. That doesn't really matter unless you're in pounds, right? I mean, you're talking hundreds of dollars in that weight, Nick. And so back to the study. So the study, what's going to happen once this takes place? This is essentially what's called. So I work in the electronics field, and there's many things. A round robin is what it's called, right? So we'll send the same instrument, same thing to different labs all across, and we all collect our data results, and we compare. Right. And if somebody's really off, well, somebody did something different, horribly different, or just don't know what the hell they're doing. Most things are basic, right? Like scales, like a weight. I just throw a weight on, or measuring the weight itself. So what NIST is going to be doing is they're going to be sending out hemp and marijuana to different labs. The labs send the results back to NIST, and then NIST does the comparison. And this is a big hoodoo. I mean, in my opinion, when it comes to regulation, if you guys watched the show with the soluble guys, the water soluble, how we talked about how that being pharmaceutical, with the consistency and the repeatability of the cannabinoids compressed from the plant for pharmaceutical use, it's a huge thing, right? But now we got the study here. The study itself will help, unfortunately, law enforcement. I mean, it's going to be an issue. I mean, eventually we'll get through this impasse where it's just like, okay, one plant's for a good time, the other plant's for, it ain't even a good time. I should say wellness, right? One plant's for wellness, the other one's for combustibles and shit like that, or consumables. All right, so now for the rabbit hole. So yeah, if you're in a lab, this study I think is going to be huge for people. You sign in, go to NIST, the NIST website. You can find it easily enough. I mean, especially if you have a lab, you're smart enough to find it by just what I have here in the site. And sign up for this. This is going to be the future. Like the results of this, I think, will help establish state regulations and federal in the long run. So, and then here we go, NIST. And the other cool thing about NIST, right? This is a government website doing marijuana studies. I mean, we say that we can't do studies with cannabis, but it's being done by a government site. So now, so and then the importance of measurement. I had this article out. It's the 1 kilogram. Just for the nerds out there, some probably already know, some don't. But so NIST and all these other agencies across the world, say like in France is where it started with the ideal measurements and what a pound is. Like, so if I want a thing manufactured like a cog in Europe and I put it millimeter specs, those millimeter specs better be the same as here in the United States and vice versa. So the original old kilogram, it took these guys when they replaced it. So the original one was a physical object, which hadn't been open for like 134 years. And when he finally replaced it, it's a mathematical equation that's going to be consistent. And this is important for us as far as like buying things. And that's going to be the same for this cannabis study that's going to be going on, in my opinion. So now back to the rabbit hole. So today, Biden signed to end private prisons, right? So the point being here is what I'm trying to lead to is some things shouldn't be left up for capitalism, right? Up to profit, right? Like putting people in prison, it just incentivizes to find bad guys. And just like with cannabis, if we could just create there should be an incentive to having an influence upon like the measurement when it comes to like the THC quality, the terpene profiles, things that you're actually going to want to look for. And why I lead to that is because in the third party measurement, I've seen the lowest bidder shit, some stuff that like say aviation and health, right? Those two things should be just run by I can't, brother. I wish I could. I tried zooming in. But if you just Google for whatever article you want, the keywords in the headline, that should pop up, brother. I really wish I could zoom in. I got a new PC, so I'm trying to figure out things. I was excited to talk about this because this is like my line. This is my field, my thing. And so back to the incentivize of business for calibration, checks and balances, and things like that. When it comes to like aviation and medical, those two things you shouldn't have like the lowest bidder, right? I want the best motherfuckers checking shit and making sure for integrity, because that's the thing is a lot of times these guys will come out and do things. So like this is why let me just stop sharing that article. This is why. So like when people argue about like, well, I don't trust labs test results for highest THC and whatnot, if we can get to this accepted level playing field, then we can know like, okay, the 25% that I smoked in Colorado is going to be the same 25% I smoked in and that's what if you're looking for 25% THC, whatever, CBD, what any good consumer is going to want to look for is ratios, right? Eventually we'll get to that. And that's what this study will also be. Like it's cannabinoid profiles. So I just thought that was exciting to share. You guys, we're on Roku now. So look up cannabis legalization news on Roku if you're really bored, and check that out. Hopefully we're going to add more stuff to that one that we can do on there, not on YouTube. Like, subscribe. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.